Sorry about that. I feel like I have a zillion windows open, like a lot of windows.
Well, as long as you don't have any windows open into your home, right? I mean, a little cool for that.
Don't be a silly baby.
So, good evening, Miss Kelly. We're live, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
I've got so much going on here. I can't figure it out tonight.
All right. Well, I'll welcome folks to the show.
Yeah, please do something.
If you are new to the show, this is a little conversation we like to do on Sunday nights called Time Out. Nancy and I, this is our 28th program, if you can believe that. We started it in May. We thought we'd be canceled after a couple of weeks, but they picked us up, renewed our contracts. No, we've had a blast doing it. We've had a blast doing this show. I'm in my home, Nancy's in her home, and hopefully you are in your home, because that's the kind of year it's been. But the good thing is it's December 13th, and we are what, 18 days remaining in 2020, and then we can flip the calendar to 2021. Not that things are going to just automatically be better on January 1st, but boy, oh boy, isn't it going to be nice? Isn't it going to be nice to just put this year, or as I call it, a dumpster fire in the rearview mirror? This has been a year that felt like a decade.
Well, I have a feeling there's going to be some interesting weeks left in the beginning of January as somebody continues to keep whining, about.
Oh, I fully agree. I mean, like I said, we still have some interesting days ahead. That's for sure. Well, all right, let's see who we got in here. We've got first in the door. Boy, she always seems to be the first in the door. Beth Ann Dice. Beth has got been seeing her on Facebook a lot. She's got a big podcast coming up, I believe. Of course, we had Beth Ann on our show along with Joe Cortini. It's a good thing we got Beth when we did, because now I think she's in very high demand.
I've been following it, but I can't say quite as close as it sounds like you have.
Yeah.
But she can tell us all about it, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure she can, and maybe she'll even tell us what she and Joe are having for dinner tonight. Let's let folks know our guest this evening. First of all, let's just take a moment and reflect back on what an amazing show last week was with Rocco Barbado. We had such a blast talking to Rocco, and we could have continued. I mean, we didn't want the show to end, but it was so fun chatting with Rocco about his days in Syracuse, and now about the last 20 years he spent in Las Vegas, and definitely one of my favorite shows.
Well, it was so fun because he's such he's so filled with love and joy, and I think our guest tonight is also a person very clearly filled with love and joy.
Yeah, why don't you tell us who our guest is tonight? She's no stranger to Central New York, having performed here on a number of occasions. Tell us who it is.
The fabulous Carmen Bradford is with us tonight. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's just a bundle of love and light, and I'm hoping to bask in some of it tonight.
Oh, if you can't bask in her exuberance, then I don't know who. She brings it to the stage, but she'll bring it tonight as well. I believe she'll have to confirm this. I believe she's going to be joining us from Atlanta. I think she makes her home in Atlanta now.
Oh, well, we'll ask her. I don't know. I never asked her. I've become friends with her over the years.
Yeah,
because of Facebook. And we'll talk about that. We share a dear friend who.
Well, you know how much I love these shows when we have, and we've had some wonderful vocalists on, Rosanna Vitro, and of course we have Jane Monheit, and I love when we have another singer on where you get to really talk shop with. And I know you and Carmen are going to get into the meat and potatoes of the art of singing. And I know she's also a teacher like you are. She has students. And so that's the part of the interview where I kind of just sit back and
put the TV on and watch some sports.
No, I can tell you right now, the TV. In fact, here, you know what? Here, I can even show you. There, you see, TV is not on. There was a time when we were doing the show that I sometimes would have the TV on. It's just kind of just something as a distraction.
Well, there's a lot of people that need to get distracted from me.
No, you are all I am focused on. I got to pick up my my cord here. But how are you doing, by the way? Before we play something from Carmen and bring her on?
Tomorrow I'm running into Jazz Central and I'm going to record a couple of holiday tunes. And by the way, we all want to wish you a happy Hanukkah.
Ah, thank you.
Yes, indeed. Do you have a little menorah that you light?
I do. Yeah, it's an electric menorah actually.
But it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
My grandson's Uncle Marshall also lights the menorah. So all his life, Graham has had all the different things. You know, we do the Santa thing. I can't say we really do a very religious kind of thing, but he's always lit the menorah with Uncle Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so it's so sweet. We have all that in our lives, and it's so nice.
We do. It is the holiday season, and listen, I love Christmas as much as anyone, but yes, I do partake in Hanukkah. It's the fourth night of Hanukkah tonight, and and right now I'm craving potato pancakes, which I'm sure you could make.
Oh no, I would love that. I would really love that. Oh, well.
With applesauce, Nance. That's what I do, at least. Some people put sour cream on their latkes, but I prefer applesauce myself. But that's another story for another time.
Well, let's play a little something.
Yeah, and I'll intro. I mean, what we're going to hear, and we might hear quite a bit of Carmen singing tonight, because I mean, Carmen's got such a great repertoire, not only as a solo artist, but as a member, as the lead singer, the featured singer for the Count Basie Orchestra for 9 years. And I'm sure she'll tell us the incredible story of how she was discovered by the legendary.
Oh, I can't wait. We got to play a little bit of this.
Count Basie, but we're going to hear, this is from the most recent recording called All About Basie, with a variety of guest artists. And well, this is Carmen's track, Honeysuckle Road.
When they see you out with me, I don't mind them, goodness knows.
That's right.
You're my honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. Your confection, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. Don't buy sugar, you just have to touch my cup, 'cause you're my sugar. You're so sweet when you stir it up. Drip, drip from your lips. Honey barely drips from your lips. Oh, you're much sweeter, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose.
Let the whole thing play, man.
Oh, I was just going to let Carmen in the room with us. Woo!
Oh,
Woo-hoo! How can I stop it? No, I can't stop it.
you can't stop Carmen.
I can't stop it.
Right there.
I got it. Woo! I'm having a night. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm having one of those nights.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Welcome, Carmen.
This is very
Oh,
exciting.
thank you so much.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
exciting
look how-
for me too.
I know, it's exciting. I'm laughing because I must be that same chart. I've sung that chart before.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, I went over to turn my piano on. I said, that's in B flat. No, and what's funny is you and I hit the same note. Bop, bop, bop. Whee! Hit that same note.
Oh
See
yeah.
that? Great jazz minds think alike is all I'm saying.
I mean, the funny thing is, I did hear.
Absolutely.
I could hear some of Nancy in Carmen, and so I'm just. I've never been happier to be the worst scatter in the room than right now. So.
Oh well.
You are a true you're a true gem, and I love you to death, and I like you too, Carmen. No, I'm not. No, I'm just.
He's in a good mood. We both need to watch out.
We got the Carmen Bradford. We got the Carmen Bradford fan club already with us tonight. We got Carla.
Is there
Well, we got Carla Thomas Cavalier.
Oh, okay. Hi, Carla.
She says hi, Carm. If she calls you Carm, I figure she must know you.
Well, she does. She knows me well, and I noticed that a lot of people that I don't know are calling me that too. They see other people write it on Facebook, so they feel like, oh, well, I'm her friend too. So.
And Carla even commented, did you guys see her concert? She even gave us the link, but we won't have time to play it on the show. But did you guys see her concert with the Singapore Orchestra? But there is a YouTube link in the chat, so if people want to click that link and check it out after the show, they can do that. Of course, Carmen has sung with many orchestras and many bands over the years. Lastly, a hello from a Dr. Cassandra Wanzo. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Cassandra.
Cassandra also says, hey, Carm. So anyway, a lot of people who love you and adore you are watching. And again, I thank Nancy for setting this up. And thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Well, I was telling Eric before we went on, you and I don't think have met in person, although we of course know so many of the same people who we know personally, who we love dearly. And we'll end up at some point in this conversation talking about our dear friend Jeremy in Singapore.
Okay.
But I think we came to know each other better just from Facebook. Just, we would find that we felt the same way about things, and we'd make the same kind of comments, and, just kind of looking out for each other every now and then and shedding a little love on each other, because especially during this time, it's been so hard. I mean, we were just talking before we went on. Are you in Texas or Atlanta?
I live in Atlanta.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was born in Texas, and I went to college there at Houston-Tillotson University in Austin, Texas.
They have a great music program there.
They do.
They do.
Really, UT Austin has a great music program as well, but so does Houston-Tillotson.
My son-in-law went there too, and he's from Texas.
Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
In fact, my daughter keeps telling me, "Oh, Mom, you have to go to Austin." She goes, "They have your kind of men there." I'm going, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, they have pickup trucks, but they have Obama stickers." I said, "Okay."
Wow.
Great. I haven't been. I'd love to go. I'd love to go.
My signal is breaking up. You guys are freezing on me a little bit on my
Are we?
end, so I missed
Oh
what
no.
you said, but yeah,
Oh, you
just a
aren't.
little bit.
You aren't.
We're freezing. It is cold here, Carmen, but I not that kind of. I know we don't want to be freezing on you though. So
Your home looks beautiful. You have it all decorated. I've been seeing on Facebook. You've been putting up pictures of what you've been. That's nice. I don't do it anymore because I'm alone and I go to my daughter's for the holidays, so it almost feels like, you know.
No. Yeah, my mom is here with us right now, so
Oh.
she insists on the full display. So
That's a wonderful reason to celebrate.
yeah, it is.
You know,
It is.
it is. Yeah, you had told me that she was with you.
Yeah, she's doing great, and she's a jazz vocalist as well, Melba Joyce,
well,
and yeah.
can you
So
see that? You see that picture, Carmen?
I do see that picture with my braces. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
But there's mother and daughter, and
beautiful. I have students, and you do too, and we'll talk about our teaching, I'm sure, and always at that certain age, they come showing up with their braces, and I'm just like, you will be so happy you did that. You will just be so happy, It's a
Yeah.
it's a part of growing up, I think.
That was my second round. I had them as a teenager and didn't wear my retainer, and then they got really crooked where it was just, look at my mouth,
Oh.
crazy, and
Mm.
had to do
boy.
it again about 10 years ago. So here we are.
No, they're beautiful. I was blessed with good teeth. I got that was one of the good things that I got. So I didn't go through that. But anyway, so what are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? What musically are you doing? You got anything cooking that you're working on?
Well, the plan has been to do a Nancy Wilson tribute album, and twice I've had investors, and twice they have fallen through. So now I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm just determined to get it done, and the music is done, the musicians have been chosen, the studio, the everything, and so I'm back on the case. I have a problem with using GoFundMe. I really don't want to do that. This isn't the time to ask people for money. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
You got to make a living though. I mean, and
yeah, but I'm not.
But then again, on the other hand, perhaps that would work the other way, where people are, so many people understand the deep need for art and keeping music alive and keeping us alive. I mean,
That's
we're
true.
all out of work, all of us,
Yeah.
I have not taken, there's been little things, but I have not taken them,
Yeah. I'm just not comfortable with that. So it's still coming.
Yeah, it's really hard, man, because you and I have both had labels, and now it's all changed. I mean, there's so few labels interested in jazz, and the ones that are, their roster is I don't know what to say.
Loaded.
It's heavily promoted, and
It's loaded with
unless you get
folks.
with that, you're in trouble. You got to raise your own money. And I raised all my money from my last I did that tribute to Mark Murphy that went very well for me. It did really well. And just as we were getting ready to do it, we had a little European tour all worked out, then COVID hit. And so now that moment's gone. I mean, the record's not.
I had a blast.
You had what?
I was gonna say, well, that can change when when this is over, where you can still do your tour. I still believe that.
I hope you're right. I
Your-
mean,
your album.
do you think so? I'm concerned that once it's
Yeah.
sort of not in the limelight, that it's not, Well, you're more
Don't
positive
think
than I am.
it's this is temporary. As horrible as it's been, it's just.
yeah. What would you say has got? I mean, I think it's safe to say. I think I speak for all of us. I think I speak for our audience. We've all had our share of just really down days throughout 2020. What for you has gotten you through some of the darker days that this year has brought us?
I think taking drives. Since you can't go in any place, right?
Right.
I get in my car and the weather has been absolutely gorgeous here in Georgia. So lots of driving and lots of deep breaths. And I teach all week. So I'm at San Francisco Conservatory of Music. So I have vocal students and I'm doing master classes at different universities. Did one for Juilliard and one for Elmhurst University. Out of the Chicago area, and which was so much fun. It's just been great. Those are wonderful, and my vocal students are incredible in the RJAM program, Roots Jazz and American Music, and so that's been keeping me very, very busy, and being at home and scheduling concert dates and symphony dates for 2022, because a lot of their seasons were completely canceled. So everybody's starting to reschedule for 2022. A lot are still trying to do 21, but it's, we'll see.
Yeah.
But a lot of contracts have just been lots of scratch outs, and then they're trying to reschedule that. So, one day at a time, and
that's been a wonderful.
I've been busy.
Yeah, I was saying that whole symphony thing has been such a blessing, hasn't it? It's so wonderful to be able to do that.
Great.
I know. You know what's sad for me? I have a show, but my voice has lowered since I've aged.
Oh,
and
I know about that.
The charts are not easy for me to sing anymore. So that's like kind of.
I know about that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. I'm probably a lot older than you, but I've been singing. Have you been singing at home?
I don't think so.
Huh?
Not too much. I've not sang too much at home. I mean, I did that video with Jeremy on Save Your Love for Me, and I didn't feel great about that. But and then I did 2 with the Knoxville Jazz Orchestra because I'm on their new album, The Road Less Traveled. I did the Peacocks. That video was wonderful. And
I think I saw that.
What's the other one? At Last.
Oh,
really?
That was a great video too. It's really cool. Everybody's on the screen. Yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. So I've been doing those, but other than that, singing to my students, just, when I need to sing.
Now I did see, right. I did see, I don't know, I think it might have been an interview you had done earlier in the year that when you sing and when you practice at home, you oftentimes will practice singing along to some of your own recordings. Is that true?
That is true.
As well as go ahead.
I try to sing through 3 of my albums as a warm-up. And then when I'm really feeling like I need to go the extra mile, I'll sing along with 2 full Ella albums.
Yeah, I thought you might go there.
Al Jarreau said you got to be second set ready.
That's right. I like that.
Isn't that a good one? Because the whole first set, if we don't get a chance to warm up, we're trying to clear her out, and it's a mess. Look at this.
But you have an affinity, right, for this particular Ella and Oscar recording, right?
That album is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's one of my favorites, actually. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
Was Ella a huge?
Was that one of yours?
Oh yeah. Well, Ella is just huge to me, and also Oscar. I first gravitated to Oscar before I did Bill Evans, you know, because I'm so into rhythm and I'm so into melody and melodic things.
Yeah.
And of course, Ella, the queen of rhythm. I mean, she really taught us about space and where to put things, you know, rhythmically.
Yes, indeed. Well, I've always been a big fan of hers and of Tony Bennett and Nancy Wilson and Frank
Yeah, I'm a huge
Sinatra.
Nancy Wilson fan. I'm
Stevie
huge.
Wonder and
Do you remember the
Chaka
first time that you
Khan,
got
and there's quite a few. Uh,
remember the first time you met Nancy Wilson?
There's a
Carmen?
thing. I think the first time I met her was when we toured together.
Oh,
I don't think that was the first time. I can't remember the first time, but we spent a lot of time together when she did tours with the Count Basie Orchestra.
okay. Yep. I think I saw videos of you and Nancy with the Basie Band on online.
Nancy Wilson's one of my favorites. It's
Yeah.
I admire anyone that can, when you stand in front of one of those big bands and first of all, it's loud. It's good and loud.
Oh, honey, it is
I mean,
beyond loud. You
I
know,
love what it
it's
does to my
overwhelming.
nervous system, though. I love how it just makes my whole body vibrate. You know, really love that. But the thing that I
Well,
find,
I love.
yeah, the thing I find challenging is when you're in the confines of an arrangement like that, to bring, you know, try to bring new things as a jazz singer to it every time you perform the show, rather than getting locked in like they are, you know what I mean, and bringing something fresh and new. And it's a great exercise for a jazz singer to do that, you know.
Well, I will say this. You know, I still work with the Count Basie Orchestra. I still perform with them, and it's just it's almost beyond my expression. It's just an explosion that kind of sweeps over your head and your body when you perform with them. Um, and my arrangements are so incredible that it just makes things really easy. When Frank Foster, John Clayton, Chico O'Farrell, um, and many others have written arrangements for you, they just make it really easy and comfortable for you to do what you do.
Yeah.
They really have. You know, I've just been really, really blessed
Yeah.
to have joined them at 23 years of age and working with Mr. Basie, and it's been quite a life.
That was a thrill of my life when I was much younger, just starting out at jazz. And Count Basie was performing in Rochester, and I got to meet him, and I was just so thrilled. You know, a young girl. I was very young, you know, and he was just astounding. Just his warmth was just wrapped all around you when you stood near him. He's a great man, indeed. Yeah. So how did that come to be for you? How did you get?
Yeah.
How did that happen that you ended up being the vocalist with the Count Basie Orchestra?
I think it involves something to do with Santa Fe, New Mexico. You were on your way there, right, Carmen?
Actually, that was later.
Oh, that was later.
Okay. I first met Mr. Basie when I was the opening act when he came to Austin, Texas, while I was a student at Houston Tillotson University, and I wasn't supposed to be on the show. The group that was opening the show for Mr. Basie was a group called Passenger. And I was singing locally then in a group called Minor Miracle that did a lot of R&B and rock and roll and with some jazz standard sprinkles in there. And the band leader was John Mills, and a great saxophonist, flautist, educator, and a brilliant arranger, just exquisite. So there was a trombone player there named Mike Mordecai. I really wasn't aware when I think back that Mike was, I didn't know he was a booking agent and was booking everything that came into town, into Austin. And so he did the negotiations, and he's the reason that I got on that show. They didn't want me on the show because Dennis Rowland was the vocalist with the Basie Band at that time,
Oh, I
and they
remember
felt
that.
that they didn't need a singer in the show. And so there was a lot of back and forth with the manager, the now manager of the Count Basie Orchestra, Dee Askew, and Mike Mordecai. And so I guess he just she surrendered and let me be on the show. Thank God for Mike Mordecai. So Mr. Basie was already riding on a motorized cart at that time, and he couldn't go downstairs. The theater where we were performing didn't have an elevator, so he was on the opposite side of the stage. And I said, I'm going to approach him. I'm going over there to say something. I'm going to go over and say hi, you know. So I finally got my nerve up, and the gentleman that was traveling with him was standing there. And I said, hi, Mr. Basie. My name is Carmen Bradford, and I'm part of the opening act of the show, and I think you'd make millions of dollars if you'd hire me.
You did. You did. Did you really say that?
She wasn't shy.
He said, really, millions? And I said, oh yeah, there's nothing like having a young lady on your show in a lovely dress. And he just kind of paused and stared at me, you know, for a couple of seconds. And I said, well, will you listen to me sing when I go out and sing? And he said, sure, honey, I'll listen. So I went out and I did A Foggy Day and Lost in the Stars and came off stage. And I said, well, what did you think? And he said, I'm going to hire you. And I said, really? Because I can go past now. I can leave the door now. And he said, no, not tonight.
That's the
He
best
said,
story
not tonight,
ever.
honey. No, but I'll be in touch with you. And
Right.
I said, well, I'm gonna run to the dorm and get my cassette of me singing. It's a lot of rock and roll tunes and stuff, but I just want to leave you with a cassette in case you forget me. And he said, I won't forget you, but you can go get it. I said, okay. So I went to the dorm and brought my cassette back to the show and caught the rest of the concert. And I didn't hear from him for 9 months.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
You know, oh yeah, it was a long time. And my roommates, I had moved out of the dorm by that time. My roommates were saying, that old man is not going to call you.
Oh.
I said, oh yeah, he's going to call me.
The call came though. Yeah.
But you do start to wonder after a while, you know.
You just broke up, so I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
Say again, man.
I just said you would start to wonder after a bit. That was quite a while to wait, you know. So you must have been thrilled when they called.
Absolutely, he called. I was on my way to do a gig in Santa Fe, New Mexico, but the day before I had my birthday party, and I blew out my candles, and I said, oh God, please let Count Basie call me tomorrow. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then I was, like I said, on my way the next day to Santa Fe to work with Minor Miracle. And my roommate said, it's some old man on the phone. And I thought it may have been my grandfather, who was also a jazz singer, by the way, was a big band singer with Lucky Millinder, Dizzy Gillespie, great vocalist. Anyway, so I went back in the house and I said, hello. And he said, is this the little girl that wants to work with me? This is Mr. Basie. And I said, is this Otis? And he said, Otis? No, this isn't Otis. Who is Otis? No. I said, Otis, you know, I've been waiting for Count Basie to call me. Don't play on the phone like that.
Oh my God.
And I hung up the phone. Back out to the car, getting ready to get in the car. And my roommate said, it's that old man on the phone again. So I thought, oh my God, let me go back in and see who this is. So I went back in the house. I said, hello. He said, listen here, if you hang up again, I'm going to call another little girl. Do you understand? This is Mr. Basie. I said, oh, Mr. Basie, I'm so sorry. I thought you were my cousin Otis. And
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I said, well, how are you? He said, I'm good. How are you? And I said, well, I've just been waiting so long for you to call. And he said, well, I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad to speak with you now, and you're going to be joining us very, very soon. I said, well, when? And he said, very soon. And so I said, okay, well, how much does it pay? And he said, what do you care? And I said, I don't care. My dad makes me ask if I'm doing a gig or, babysitting or something. And then there was this long pregnant pause, like I'm hiring somebody that's way too young to be out on the road with us.
Oh,
But he said, well, we'll see you soon. And so that was Monday. And then I got a call on Wednesday from the great Sonny Cohen, who's trumpet player in the band, lead trumpet, and also the road manager. And he said, this is Sonny Cohen. I'm the road manager with the Count Basie Orchestra. And your ticket will be at the airport on Friday. I said, day after tomorrow? He said, yes. He said, so bring all of your big band arrangements. I said, well, I don't have any big band arrangements. I said, I sing rock and roll and R&B. And he said, okay, well, bring all your beaded gowns. I said, well, I wear Levi's and cowboy boots on stage and a sweatshirt. I don't wear any beaded gowns. And then he said, okay, well, just put a little rope around your suitcase and we'll see you on Friday.
oh God, it's the best story ever.
Oh.
This is great.
I got to the airport on Friday and there was no ticket. And I immediately thought somebody's just playing a joke on me, and
Sure.
30 of my friends from school came to see me off. I'll never forget it. And they said, don't start to cry, just wait a minute. So they all stepped away from me and the ATM and pulled money out of their accounts and bought me a round trip ticket to Boston, because that's where I was supposed to join them.
Oh.
And they said, well, if it's not true, you just come on back in school with us again. I was like, no, baby, this is it. God, please let
So
this
what
be
what
it.
was their explanation of where the ticket went?
Well, I don't know what happened. I really don't know, but I got to Boston and there was a room for me at the hotel. We stayed at the Boston Park Plaza. The band had not arrived yet. But I went to my room and I kept looking. I had a room on the front side of the hotel, and that's when their windows could raise. Then they had these giant windows at that hotel on the front side. And so I was leaning out. I said, well, I guess they're all going to come in separate limousines. So I'm just leaning out the window looking for them. And so then there was this big stankin' fuming Greyhound bus coming down the street, getting closer to the hotel. And
Here come the
surely
band.
they're not on that, And of course, right, all these black men got up. I said, that must be them. So I ran downstairs to the lobby, and Mr. Basie was in the lobby by the time I got down there. And I said, hi, Mr. Basie, I'm here. And he said, yes, you are.
Wow.
Oh, this is going to make me cry. This is the best story ever.
I mean, I knew this was I had heard some details of this story, but to hear it in full detail now, I mean, you just can't make something like this up, And
Oh
yeah, my
it
God,
was pretty special. So he said, I said, well, what are we going to do now? And he said, well, we're going to check in, I was just excited, And so he said, you meet us down here in the lobby at 5:30 and to the gig, and you and I will get asked, okay? And I said, okay. So the band got on the bus and Dennis Rowland, and I'm smiling and grinning and everything. And so Mr. Basie and I got on the bus, and the two of us stood at the front of the bus, and he said, gentlemen, this is our new little girl. And then he said, what's your name, honey? I said, Carmen. And he said, this is our new little girl, Carmen. And then he went like this and pointed at everybody on the bus, went all the way, followed his finger and eyes, till he got back down to the front. He said, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it, like that. And then he said, you just sit right here, baby, okay? You sit right in front of me, okay? Like that. And that's how he talked to me for the year that I knew him.
oh.
Like I was 7 or 8 years old, and that night they were working with Tony Bennett, and Mr. Basie said, do you know who Tony Bennett is? That's who we're working with tonight. I said, I just love him. He's one of my favorites. And he said, oh, well, good. So the next morning, I got a call from the gentleman that traveled with him, who said to me, well, Mr. Basie would like to see you in his room in about 20 minutes. And I said, okay. So, I waited the 20 minutes, and just when I was getting ready to walk out the door, my dad called and said, well, how did it go last night? And I said, Dad, it was so great. I said, they opened for Tony Bennett. It was incredible. And he said, well, how's the band? I said, they're so old. I said, a lot of them are so old. They're older than you. And he said, Carmen, do you realize what this is? He said, this is serious, baby. Listen, nobody gives a damn about their age. They have earned that age. Do you understand? Just really saying all this really wonderful stuff about Mr. Basie. And then he was talking about the band and in such a loving way. And then he said to me, well, what are you getting to do today? What are you getting ready to do? I said, well, Mr. Basie wants me to come to his room right now. Then all of a sudden my dad said, what the hell for?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I said, I don't know. He said, well, listen here, if he tries to touch you, you just hit him and you run. Do you understand me? I said, Dad, you want me to hit him? He said, I don't give a damn who he is. If he tries to touch you, you knock him out and you run out of that room. I said, well, Dad, I haven't sung a note yet. I am not going to beat up Count Basie. I want to sing. And he said, I don't give a damn. Did you hear what I said? And I said, okay. He said, I mean it, Carmen. And you call me as soon as you leave. So I went down to Mr. Basie's room, and the gentleman that traveled with him answered the door. And he said, come on in, honey. Go on in the bedroom. Mr. Basie's in there. And I said, oh, Lord, have mercy. This is happening.
Oh.
And so when I went in the room, in his bedroom, he had on the most beautiful royal blue pajamas, silk, matching robe, monogram, CB on the lapel, beautiful velvet slippers with a big monogram on the toe of the slipper, just looking like old money. And he was having breakfast. So it was just crystal and china. It was just, he just looked like old money,
Yeah.
And so he said, come on in, honey. So he gestured for me to sit across from him, which I did. And he said, did you have breakfast? Are you hungry? Would you like to have some breakfast? I said, no, thank you. I already had breakfast. And he said, well, what did you think of the show? I said, I think it's the greatest thing I ever saw. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to sing. And he said, well, we're not going to have your arrangements written for another three weeks. So you just watch Dennis Rowland and how he moves on stage and how he takes his bow and just do that. And I think you'll be in good shape. I said, okay. He said, well, what are you going to do today since it's our day off? And I said, well, I thought I'd go get some souvenirs from my friends, the ones that paid for my airline ticket. He said, okay, well, we got your money for that. And he said, tomorrow we're going to work with Sarah Vaughan. Do you know who that is? And I said, oh my God, I love her. He said, and on about her. He said, well, you don't approach her. I will introduce you to her. You understand? And I said, okay. And he said, seriously, she doesn't like little girls, so don't bother her. And I thought, what a strange thing to say, that she doesn't like little girls. And I think he meant she doesn't like young singers.
Right.
That's what I got from that. But of course I ignored that, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so he said, well, come over here and sit next to me. And I said, okay. So I sat next to him, and I didn't sit right next to him. I sat like this far from him.
Right.
Then he said, no, come sit next to me. And then he patted the bed, for me to scoot over him. And I scooted over just a little bit. And then he said, no, come right next to me. And I said, okay. And then, so he's here. So he leaned on me. But first he pulled my right hand over his lap. And I thought, I'm really going to have to beat up Count Basie. Look at this old man.
You're thinking of your dad at this point, like, oh, yeah.
So, like I said, he leaned on me and he reached into his robe pocket and pulled something out, and he put it in my hand, and then he closed my hand like that. And so he said, now go shopping and come back and show me what you bought. And he put $100 bill in my hand, and I said, okay. So I was just kind of stunned by that, you know? And I said, okay. So that's what I did. I went shopping, and I bought a bunch of crap, you know, foam fingers with Boston written on there, and snow globes, and just T-shirts and all kind of crap. So I went and knocked on his door, went to his room, and I came back with 2 big shop bags. And so the gentleman, and he said, go on in there, honey. Mr. Basie's in the bedroom there. Go on in. So I said, okay. So I went in his room, and he said, let me see everything. So I dumped everything on the bed and picked up every single thing. And he looked at every single thing that I picked out. It was just the sweetest thing. And so then he said, well, did you bring me any change? I said, was I supposed to bring you some change? And he said, no, honey, I just thought I'd ask. And then he said, let's do this on our days off, okay? You just go shopping, and then you come back and show me what you bought, okay? And I said, okay. And so I think what I got from that, you know, Mr. Basie has a daughter that's still alive.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
The daughter, she's in her late 70s, early 80s. Her name is Diane. And I think she's mentally challenged. And I think I filled a little void for him.
I was going to say, this sounds to me like he was enjoying being the elder and the grown-up and just doing sweet things for a sweet young girl.
Yeah, and it was precious.
It's precious. Yeah. That story is just precious, Carmen.
It really is. I imagine that for a girl born in Texas, the city of Boston is always going to have a special place in your heart.
Well, you know, I was just born in Austin. I grew up in Altadena, California. I mean,
right.
We were just there until my dad graduated. So, you know, I love Texas, though. And of course, like I mentioned, I went to college there. But
but that story, I mean, and the memories of that time being in Basie's bedroom in Boston, you know, that's, I mean, you can remember that story again years later, detail for detail, and the entire time you told that story, there was this wide-eyed smile on your face, and I think, Nance, you can tell too, the reverence that Carmen has. She always refers to him as Mr. Basie. You know, he's always going to be Mr. Basie to you. Just the respect you have for him, because he gave you a break that obviously just catapulted your entire career.
Yeah, he truly did. It just means the world to me, and I still just get teary-eyed when I talk about him.
Yeah.
It was really a really special time in my life. Really special.
And to be in a situation where you were with the best of the best.
Yes.
And so, with your depth of musicality, this really formed who we hear and see today, this fabulous singer that's sitting with us. This really, because you heard it done right. You know, you heard it done right.
Yeah.
And that's,
it was terrifying.
Well, still.
I mean, I think of all the great musicians who got a chance to learn and play in Art Blakey's band, the different groupings of Art Blakey's jazz messengers and the jazz education that they received, and the list is pretty lengthy, but the jazz education that you received, again, working with the caliber of musicians that you worked with and being embraced like you were, it stays with you for a lifetime. And again, it's just, you could see, we could see the joy on your face right now.
Yeah, it's great.
It's even now, you know, I'm the elder in the band when I work with them. Clarence Banks and I. Clarence is joined the band a couple of months after I did. He's a trombonist, and so it's so strange to be an old person in the band because there's got a lot of incredible young musicians in the band. But I tell you what, to start with them and to open for Ella Fitzgerald and get to know her a tiny bit, and just to be around people like Joe Williams for.
Oh, I love Joe Williams.
Me too.
I love Joe. He was one of my go-tos when I was young.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. He taught me a lot. He taught us not only about the jazz, but he taught us about the blues, which to me is the basis of jazz.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, if you don't understand the blues, I mean, I make all my students, that's the first thing they learn is they learn how to navigate through a 12-bar blues and understand, what it is, and it's so important. And then we look at history. I love to look at history and show them where this music came from. I have isn't that wonderful?
No, I've never seen that picture.
I saw this. I just love the expression on your face, and for those folks who are watching, can you tell us about this fine trumpeter that you're standing next to, Mr. Scottie Barnhart?
Oh, I just adore him. I'm telling you, I need to get a little Kleenex because I've just not met a leader. We had Thad Jones after Mr. Basie passed away.
Right.
Foster, Grover Mitchell, Bill
Right.
Hughes, Dennis McCrell, but none of them, of course, and I'm not disrespecting in any
Sure.
way any of those leaders that we had, but Scottie has done so much for the band.
Yeah.
He's keeping the band spaced out. The band records, at least once or twice a year. We've got that Christmas album that we did with Johnny Mathis and Lettucey and Ellis Marsalis, and that the album All About That Basie, which I'm also on with Jamie Davis, and we've got Kurt Elling on there and Take Six, and he's just and there's a new album coming out that's a live album from Birdland.
Oh.
And yeah, it should be out soon. But he's just worked so very hard, and he's so dedicated. I just love him, and I wish that I tell him often that I know how proud Mr. Basie is, of him. He would have to be, because he believes in Basie's legacy, believes in the legacy of the Count Basie Orchestra. And I can't say it enough. I just love him.
Well, I also think there's a lot to be said for what you spiritually are bringing to that situation. By you're there, you're with the band, you're creating and keeping alive something that is extremely important. You're a curator in this whole thing, and we all thank you. We just thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, Carmen. You make me. I'm going to end up crying over here.
I mean, listen. I always have tissues just in case.
Oh.
But Nancy, go ahead.
I've had singers say to me, and pardon me, Eric. I've had singers say to me, "Gosh, you just keep working with the Basie Band. Don't you want to do something else?" And I just, people don't follow your career like you think they might notice, but I do lots of other things, on my own. But I don't think they understand the importance of continuing this legacy. And I'm always going to do whatever I can, and whenever they need me, I'm there.
I think that was my point, and I think we're both making a really great point here. Americans need to understand this. They need to understand the legacy of this music and the Count Basie Band, and how everyone looks there.
Absolutely.
Everyone looks there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the gold standard. And I want to let people know, by the way, if you want to see just some of the incredible people that Carmen has worked with besides the Basie Band, take a moment, not now, wait till after the show is over, but go to CarmenBradford.com And look at Carmen's bio, and your eyes will
Mind
pop
blowing.
out.
Yeah.
Because it literally is a Hall of Fame list of musicians that Miss Bradford has had the pleasure of working with, along with symphonies around the world and Grammy award-winning collaborations. So, I mean, you are you're blessed. You truly are blessed to have had the career you've had, and hopefully things are gonna get back to where we can have live music again, and you and Scottie and the guys can entertain the masses. But I know there's nothing quite like, and I know Nancy is as great of a performer as I've known in my life, and we've known each other for over 20 years, but there's nothing, I'm sure nothing you enjoy more than stepping onto either a club stage, all those guys behind you, or with your own group, or maybe going on the Concord Jazz Festival, or the Singapore Jazz Festival, and the energy between the musicians and the crowd. And we all miss that right now, but you know, when that comes back, that's going to be an electric moment.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think people are ready for us.
Oh,
yes.
They are ready for us.
Yes, they are.
It's going to feel so good and so warm. Hey, was Butch Miles ever on the band when you were with the band? Drummer Butch Miles?
No. Oh no, I know who you're talking about. We know each other well. No, unfortunately, we weren't on at the same time, but we have performed together with the Basie Band. You know.
Yeah.
Different occasions.
He.
Yeah, I adore him.
The guy that really taught me about swing and the feel of a big band and the feel of that kind of push of the rhythm that happens. He played drums for Maynard for years and years, so his feel was deep and hard. You know, he was not laying back; he was pushing. And you know, it changed my life as a singer. It really changed my life. And it's Butch. I worked with Butch once out the West Coast Jazz Party, and it was so fun because he was playing my shit, man. He was like pushing it, you know. And I was like, woo! It was great. Jeremy Pelt was on the date. It was a great moment in my little career.
Hey, should we play, can we play something else from Carmen?
Sure, why not? We got stuff. Let's, we could talk about we could go on to talk about your, you spent some time with George Benson, right?
Okay. Yeah, well, that album, Big Boss Band, was George's album that the Basie Band played on. And, wow, that was an interesting recording. I wasn't supposed to be on that, but I was part of the contract, and we recorded "You Don't Know Me" and also "How Do You Keep the Music Playing."
Right.
And it got all this airplay. They didn't play anything off of that album, but How Do You Keep the Music Playing? And I think he won best jazz album.
It did. And so,
yeah. Unfortunately, not best duet or whatever it was we were doing. Not best, but
well, if you don't mind, let's hear a little bit of you and George. How do you keep the music playing? Michel Legrand.
Oh, there's another whole conversation. Michel Legrand.
How do you keep the music playing? How do you make it last? How do you keep the song from fading too fast?
How do you
things to say. And since we know we're always changing, how can it be same? And tell me how year after year you're sure your heart will fall apart each time you hear her name. Of lovers, yet be the best of friends. If we can try with every day to make it better as it grows, with any luck then I suppose the music never ends.
One more time.
The way I feel for you, it's never, never. The more I love, the more that I'm afraid that in your eyes I may not see forever, forever. And if we can be,
All right, I'm just gonna let that.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I mean, goosebumps.
Yes, yes, yes. I've got them.
Just
I have-
goosebumps.
In such a long time, my voice was so high.
That's
Yeah.
the thing we started our conversation about. That blows my mind. I can't hit that anymore. I mean, it's awful.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Like you were like right. Oh
I
man.
know.
But full voice.
I'm not tune anymore.
Full voice up
Yeah.
there.
Ah,
Just beautiful. And I can't see, I've been teaching so much that I'm always thinking of technique and listening to people. And I was thinking, George Benson, to my knowledge, was another one of those cats who didn't really want to sing too much. Didn't he prefer playing guitar to singing? Do you know anything of him? I might be wrong. I don't.
I'm not sure about that. Because he seems to love to sing on everything that I've ever heard him sing. So, of course, I think he started out playing guitar, but I think he enjoys singing quite a bit. We toured quite a bit with him after.
Yeah. And he's such a natural. I was listening to the way he was handling, some of the high notes. We have these discussions a lot with my students about how, some people just pop out singing. They don't need they don't need to think about a lot to place things right and to get the right sound. For you, you grew up around music, and your mother is a wonderful singer as well.
Thank you.
So in your home growing up, was Mama singing around, and what was going on?
Always singing and always playing a lot of music. But, even now, if you listen to a recording of her and then listen to a recording of me, it's clear that I have borrowed quite a bit from her.
When we're little, it sinks in like osmosis. We've had these conversations with other people, how, it's your parents, you don't want to do what your parents are doing, but it's in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Her phrasing is so incredible, and it was. She was a huge influence on me. Huge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What do you have here?
Well, I know Carmen. Carmen brought up her dad earlier when she was telling the Basie story, and there's a picture of her dad, and I just look at the eyes, and I'm sure you've been told this, Carmen. You do have your father's eyes. Do you see that, Nance?
I do.
I am his twin. We look.
You really are. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and no denying that. You could never deny me, But we look quite a bit alike.
And speaking of twins, there are twins in your family, correct?
Yeah, my brothers are twins. I have twin brothers. They're like 3 years older than me. Keith and Carl. Carl is a singer and composer. Mm-hmm. Really great singer. It sounds like Johnny Mathis, a mix of Johnny Mathis and Peabo Bryson, I would say.
Ooh,
yeah. Okay, let me and Eric both go, ooh.
And my brother Keith, he's a closet singer. He won't sing a lot in front of us, but he has a wonderful voice too. I've only heard him maybe just a very few times singing along with something, but he plays bass. He's a bass player.
By the way, Carla.
Yeah, both my parents.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, both your parents musicians, and of course your third generation because your grandfather played with Lucky Millinder and Dizzy Gillespie, correct?
Sang with Lucky, recorded with Diz.
What was his instrument?
Had a few. He's a singer.
Oh, a singer.
He's a big.
Woo! And I'm so glad you answered the question. Instrument. He was a singer. Thank you. Yes, it's an instrument.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's cool. My grandpa had a big band too.
Oh yeah.
He did. It was a society band, and he played the violin, and it was and he, when I was 6, he set me on his lap, and he said, because I had started on piano by 4.
Okay.
And he said, Nancy, don't get in the music business. Someone was worried.
I love it.
But I did. I went ahead and, started my own band when I was 16.
And I'm glad she did. I wanted to just read what Carla, I want to bring Carla in. Carla in the chat mentioned that George Benson, I guess, is currently working on a project with Preston Glass, a name I'm not familiar with, actually.
No, nor I.
No, but then I love what she says about your mother. Melba Joyce's voice is like a mother's hug. That's such a warm way of describing your mom's voice, and so we want to thank.
That is, my mother is badass.
Hey,
she is the real deal. Wow. She is. Excuse my language, but she.
Oh
is
no,
the show
no, oh please, no.
The jazz show, dear. We do use those words here.
Trust me, Nancy's used far worse.
Oh, I've said the F word on here before.
So.
Thank you, Carla. That's so sweet. I'll let her know.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sweet. Look, she's giving you a bunch of hearts right now.
That's sweet. But
Is there one?
My mother's a composer. My mother's a composer also. She wrote that tune, 2 tunes that I recorded. One is "Be the One," and the other one is "Was I in Love Alone."
Right, which I actually
sent. Her composition.
I sent to you, Nance. If we
can we play a little of that?
I want to play like about a minute.
I would love to.
Please, yes.
I was listening to it earlier and I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Let me grab some of this.
Absolutely.
See, there's the crooked teeth.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's the photo is probably not one of your favorites, but.
I sing all the songs of how he walked away and how she cried until life seemed so needless. I've read all the books about a lasting life that ended and how someone pretended to be caring, only leaving, just deceiving. And I wonder, was I in love alone? Was it just a dream? Could it be you never cared? What were you doing while I was in love? I sing all the songs of how he walked away and how she cried until life seemed so needless. I've read all the books about a lasting love that ended and how someone pretended to be caring, only leaving, just deceiving. And I wonder, was I in love alone? Was it just a dream? Could it be you never cared? What were you doing while
Oh, I didn't mean to shut that down.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
If
That's
if,
okay.
I'm
if people want to hear the rest of it, it's on. They can find it on YouTube. Was I in Love Alone? And again, that song written by your beautiful, talented mother, Melba Joyce. It's such a wonderful, wonderful song. I'm sorry we for time constraints.
I didn't mean to do that. No, I have so many thoughts. I listen to your voice. Your voice is it just envelops you with warmth and just it's like a big hug, your voice.
Yeah.
I love you have a wonderful buttery tone. And I can hear all the influences of all the music that you've been around all your life. There's many people. Absolutely. There's many. There's the jazz snobby people who only listen to jazz, who only want to, And I started out. I was a rock and roll singer. I did the same.
I knew that.
I was a rock and roll singer, and then I went to R&B, and then I went to jazz, which is sort of a natural progression. It's like I was always searching for something more sophisticated, but I can hear that in your voice, and I think that that's an important component. There was a time in my teaching when I would tell the kids, I think I wanted them only to listen to jazz, but now I'm having them listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's important. They can't just listen to jazz vocalists day in and jazz musicians day in and day out, and because you're never going to your ear is just not going to develop in the right way.
You're not going to get the full picture of what American music is about.
That's right.
And it all came from one source, but
absolutely.
The world wants to be, they copy our music. I mean, there would be no Beatles without Chuck Berry. There would be no Rolling Stones, without Muddy Waters. All these people, people don't realize that how important the blues is. But anyway, I hear that in your voice, and I love your tone. Did you study voice at all when you were younger?
Well, I sang in high school, and I studied briefly with Professor Edward Boatner, who was Sonny Stitt's stepdad, but that was studying opera in New York in the suburbs. And I studied studied with Giuseppe Ballestieri, who was a vocal coach in LA, very briefly. But you know, my mom was my coach, and listening to all of those recordings when I do my tours on Saturdays, I was seriously into Stevie Wonder, and from an R&B perspective, Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, the Supremes, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin.
I love Gladys is my girl.
Don't forget the Pips too.
Oh, I'm into Gladys, man. I was working in Atlantic City. On my breaks, I'd go and sit through her show and just soak up every bit of her love.
Oh, wow.
God, she was amazing.
That's what I was, as you mentioned, you were into rock and roll. I was into the R&B thing very seriously, and my intention was to sing R&B until I got to the age of about 16. And I started, one time I went in my dad's office and was listening to the Billie Holiday recording, and I think my ear was ready to receive that.
I hear that.
At that age.
I hear that.
That's when I really started to listen to jazz. But you know, I mean that. It's like a shift came in my brain, and my head was ready to get in big girl school. And so,
Yeah.
Still loving R&B though, you know.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why this name just popped into my head, but I just want to throw it out. Maybe somebody you also admire. Phyllis Hyman?
I wasn't a big
No?
Phyllis Hyman fan. No.
Well, she was all on the scene when I lived in Philly. She was on that whole scene, Teddy Pendergrass and all those people. I was hanging out with them, you know, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and all those people. That was quite a scene down there in Philly. That was a lot of fun. Maybe too much fun.
That's where our in-person hang.
That's where the in-person hang. Oh, well, it's gonna go in the book. I got a friend now that wants me to write a book. I'm going, is it going to be a tell-all? And I said, no, it's going to be telling almost all.
I'm dealing with the same thing.
Oh, God.
Really serious stories, but I'm not comfortable telling everything. And I'd like to be employed.
Yeah.
Well, you've been smart about that. I unfortunately am a little too real, and it's not been the best choice to be. But on the other hand, it's who I am. So what can I do about that? You know.
I was wondering if, and since Carmen brought her name up.
We'll have to read each other.
And selfishly, I just want to hear a snippet of this song with Carmen. I did radio for 25 years. At WAER radio here in Syracuse. And the very first, it was about 1993, 94 I started. And for whatever reason, the very first song of yours that I played and just got hooked on, and I've been hooked on it to this day, was from this album called With Respect. And it is your rendition of High Wire, which, of course, Shaka Khan.
That looks like the 80s to me.
That was actually 95, I believe, I think.
So, yeah.
But people might not be able to see some of the names on that album, by the way. I mean, Ralph Penland, Cedar Walton, Donald Brown, Dori Caymmi, Robert Hurst. I mean, not too shabby. And I sent Nancy your version of High Wire because for me, it really always grabbed me. So would you mind if we heard just a quick snippet of High Wire?
No, I don't mind.
All right. I'm going to stop the share and let. This is Carmen Bradford circa 1995 from her album With Respect. And High Wire.
people far below. The air is clear and I can perceive the whole world is shining. Life is sublime, and when you dare to go up in the air and leave the earth far behind you, as I step and dip and leap into a space beyond a pie, just for a moment, alive and so afraid, but alive as I push against the sky and my heart is broken free. Fear turns to joy when you can raise the edge of the sky, and life's intense and strong. It's not so long before you run beyond your horizon. Up on the wire, the line is thin and you must balance earth against the sky so precisely. But the sky seems to go on as far as you can see a pie. Just for this moment, alive, so afraid, but alive as the wire disappears and you're finally broken free.
Yeah, baby.
Oh.
Cedar. Oh my God, Cedar, go get him, baby.
Yes.
Thank you so much for indulging me with that, Nance.
Oh my gosh, that was like,
And thank you, Carmen, for recording that song. Oh, gosh.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
That takes me back.
that's on the jazz side of the fence right there. Woo. Nice.
You know,
Thank you.
I know, Nance, we talked about throwing a couple of random questions out to Carmen as we're, getting towards the end of the show. And you think we could do that? And you can answer too, Nance?
Well, let's ask Carmen. If I feel compelled, I will.
Carmen, it's a segment I used to do on my radio when I used to interview people on the radio, just called Take 5, where I would just kind of take 5 random questions. I wouldn't tell the artist ahead of time. First thing that comes to your mind, just spout it out. It might be music related, it might not.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
Oh gosh, if you had somehow decided not to pursue a career in music, you might have become
An interior designer.
Ooh.
Oh, I can see that. I can see that.
Okay, I like that.
You got the whole thing where you design not only yourself, but everything around you.
Yeah.
And very well.
Okay, a couple of others. I mean, look, I don't even know if you can answer this, but you collaborated with so many, but who would be somebody that you've yet to collaborate with, if you could pick an artist in any genre today, either to do a song on stage or join you in the studio for a track on a future album of yours, somebody that you've never had the chance to collaborate with, and you could just pick up the phone and call their people and say, hey, can you join me for this track? Who comes to mind?
Eric Clapton.
I love that you said that.
Wow. Hey.
Oh my God, I'm thinking like people, because I would love to work with Benny Green, really, but he's got my thing going. Eric Clapton, wow.
Eric Clapton, I love it.
He was another one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love him.
He's got, one day you were sitting in your kitchen and you were putting out videos of stuff. You were sitting there listening and you were grooving to it and you were playing some stuff and going, she listens to that stuff, man. Oh man, oh my God.
Everything. Oh, that was the Chicago. The band Chicago.
My
That's
God.
all. I love them.
You were singing along with it, hitting all the notes.
Oh yeah, all the harmonies. I love them.
All right, one last one, and this will be non-music related. I know right now we're living in a time where it's not real safe to go out to eat, but when that day comes and you can have a chance to go out for a nice dinner, maybe after a gig, what would be Carmen Bradford's ideal meal?
A really great cheeseburger with really great fries.
Hey.
Nice and fancy.
No. Hey.
That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite foods. And I say that because for the past year, I've been doing this pescatarian thing, and I cheat occasionally going to McDonald's and having a sausage egg McMuffin with cheese. But I would seriously love, well, I eat that incredible burger or impossible burger at Burger King, but
Okay.
I want a really, really good burger with lots
Are
of
you're staying away from meat?
I am. I'm trying to, but I'm going since I've been home day in and day out. I've been cheating a lot.
So pescatarian, that's all. That's primarily all fish, right? Okay. Do you have a favorite? You have a favorite fish or?
I like salmon.
Yeah, I'm a salmon fan. Do you cook?
I do every single day, 3 times a day.
Wow, she's got you beat, Nance.
I got something in the oven right now. It's starting to smell so good.
Since March 1st, 3 times a day.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure cooking. I mean, again, I get I know my way around the kitchen a little bit. Carla just mentioned she mentions the best hamburger place here in San Francisco. She didn't say it by name, but she knows of a great burger joint in San Francisco. So
better than the In-N-Out burger.
I know that's big out west, but
I know.
But is cooking? I mean, is cooking very? Can that be very therapeutic for you to just kind of get your mind off all the craziness in the world when you're cooking? You can just kind of zone in on whatever you're making.
Well, sometimes it does. You know what allows me to zone out is the channel TCM, Turner Classic Movies. I'm telling you, if that channel didn't exist, I would lose my mind. I'm a serious movie fan. So
Are you?
Yes. Oh
Well,
my gosh, I love movies.
Well, Nancy will appreciate this, and I know you will too. Nancy knows my parents, and my parents are avid TCM watchers, and they will always tell me about a particular movie. If I've never, have you ever seen this film? And just recently, for the first time, they told me about, or they mentioned, they keep track of the listings better than I do. They said, hey, this film is on, you got to watch it. And I had never seen it. And I finally just watched it the other day for the first time. And ironically enough, I can even bring up a picture because this person was actually in the film. It's a film called High Society.
I did watch that the other day.
Yes. And I realized it gave me a chance because I would have been kicking myself if I didn't bring this picture up that you were kind enough to share with Nancy. Who's that little girl sitting on Satchmo's lap?
3-year-old Carmen Bradford in her dress and all. My mother was his vocalist in 1963. Yeah. And my dad brought me and my brothers to the gig. That the original photograph, my brothers are standing on either side of him.
Okay.
And we just cropped it,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I knew whose lap I was sitting. You see how I have my hand sitting on top of his hand?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I knew who was holding me. And I can remember that like it was yesterday as well. My memory's really good about things like this. And I remember him picking me up like I was gonna break. Like I was
yeah.
like I was a little piece of glass, But he was
I can only imagine he was the gentlest soul.
Yeah.
The gentle, oh my God. I mean, Pops just changed everything for everyone.
That's right.
with his spirit and his love.
Yes,
He's
indeed.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Oh.
again,
That's in
I
the
highly
museum.
go ahead about the museum. What about the museum?
That photograph is in his museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's in Queens, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I highly recommend High Society. I know Carmen's seen it. Nance, have you seen High Society?
I have at some point, but I definitely after this conversation need to go revisit it. I have a hard time relaxing. I'm not a person who relaxes well, so I need to make myself sit down and look at stuff. I follow a few shows, you know,
Yeah.
but after I lost David from Schitt's Creek, I don't watch anything because I'm still in love with him.
I've just seen one episode of that
Well,
show.
let me clue you in. You need to sit through about 3 of them, and then it will start to work for you. The first 3 are like, what is this foolishness? But trust me, your heart needs it. Just trust me.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Do it. Just get through 3 of them. And it's because we need that kind of, it's been so heavy this year. Oh my God. It's just been so heavy.
Yep. Well, what do you
We
say?
didn't even get a chance to talk about Jeremy Montero.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. No. I mean, we can go a few. I mean, you teased it in the beginning. We can't leave the people hanging. So talk about Jeremy, please.
I don't know how I met Jeremy. I do know how. I had one of those residency gigs in Singapore many, a long time ago. It was a 3-month residency at the top of the Westin. It was a beautiful jazz club called Somersets. And of course, Jeremy, he's always been the king of Singapore. I mean, it's never been any different. And he came in and we met there. And of course, he had brought me over many times, and he brings you over all the time. And we're still dear friends. He's a sweet soul. I know.
He is.
But his son and I are secretly involved in some sort of espionage.
Very.
Okay.
I love Jerry.
We used to talk Russian to one another when we were on tour. When we were there.
My goodness. Wow.
So very close with those people. Very.
Yeah, I miss him so much. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm about ready. I'm ready to get out of here too. Although I find those plane rides hard. I don't do so well with the 30-hour thing.
That flight is a bit of a beast, but once I get there and can sleep a little while, I'm good to go. It's just so much fun.
But the food. Oh my God, the food.
I was gonna say that. I'm glad you said it first.
Oh my God. Yeah, but I mean, no, you don't know until you have been to Singapore and see the way they respect dining and eating and food. I mean, well, of course, it's like Japan. It's the same kind of thing, only they get way more into the ceremony of it. It's just, and it's out of this world. It's just, oh my God. And you lose weight.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I always do.
I've never really thought about the weight thing, but with all the sweating that you do when you're there, I would say that. But the food, and Jeremy just takes you endlessly to restaurants, different places.
And the best, the absolute best.
Everything. Yes, honey. It's just a party. I live to go there. I mean, I just love it.
Wow.
But he hired me. We met through Ernie Watts.
Well, me too. Me too. That's how. Yeah. Well, Ernie was on my first record.
Yeah, I was touring with Doc Severinsen at the time, and Ernie and I were working together in Doc's band, and apparently he had recommended me to Jeremy, and I was teaching at USC, University of Southern California, and I got a call during my vocal class, and I stepped out to take it because I knew he had shared with me that he had gotten my number from Ernie, and he said, "Well, I'm playing at this club in Bangkok, in this hotel, and I was wondering if you're interested in doing the gig. Ernie said such nice things about you," and I said, "Okay, why not?" So that's how we met.
The Ritz. The Ritz Carlton.
No, it was at the Sheraton. The Sheraton.
Sukhumvit. Yeah.
On Sukhumvit Road. The living room. The living room at the Sheraton is what it's called. That's what the room is called. But it's on the mezzanine level and it's open.
I think that's the same room I'm talking about. I'm older and I don't have a great memory, so it may be the same room. All I know is I enjoy my wine, but boy, those people can outdrink me any day of the week.
Listen,
it was great.
At that hotel. Oh my God.
Oh, the food. Can you remember it coming up with the white tablecloths and all the fine china, and you're sitting in this room that you feel like a queen, the queen of queens, the crisp white sheets and I know.
It really is. I swear we're not exaggerating, Eric.
No, Eric, it's so decadent. It is beyond decadent.
I guess it's worth the flight just for that experience.
That's why it's fun to watch that movie, Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians.
I love that movie.
Right? Because we saw all the places that we hang out in Singapore.
I have not seen it. I have not seen it yet, but now I have another reason to see it.
Oh, you have to see it.
Oh,
I know. It's on my list.
And I love Henry Goldings. He's so wonderful. I met him. I guess it's been maybe 2 years ago. But, and I had just left Singapore from working with Jeremy and Sunil, the sound man that he works with all the time. And Sunil was friends with him.
Oh, if I could put this picture up. No, this guy is so handsome. He should be illegal. He should be illegal.
Listen, I called him I said, that man is a vitamin, honey. He is fun.
All right, I'm going to leave you ladies to talk about
No, you don't know. No, you don't know. If I could find a picture of this guy, I have it on my computer, but I don't think I have the time to find it.
Listen, he was having breakfast at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I was leaving. I was having breakfast, and I saw him. He was maybe about 6 tables from me. And I called Sunil, and I texted him and said, "I am sitting across from Henry Goldings. Can you believe that?" He said, "Go say something to him." So I finally went over and spoke with him. He was the sweetest young man. And at first, I think he thought I was, kind of a Band-Aid, just kind of. And I said, "Well, I'm friends with Sunil." And he said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, man, we're good friends." And so then he got really nice and really warmed up, and we took endless pictures because my hand was shaking.
Oh.
But my hand was shaking. So we ended up, I may have done that on purpose. So we took a lot of pictures together. But he's the sweetest thing.
Well, we've gone way, way over because this has just been so delightful.
We have gone over, but I figure, it is the holiday season. It's the only chance we're going to have to hear. So to kind of close us out, I think hearing Carmen sing a holiday classic. We won't hear the whole thing. Maybe just about a minute and a half from this wonderful recording. The Count Basie.
You have to close that in order for me to get to the because it closes my whole computer off when you.
It's just the radio and me introducing the album of a very swinging Basie Christmas, and this is I think a song that people will recognize, and we'll kind of wrap up and then say goodbye to Carmen, but take a listen to a holiday favorite from our lovely guest.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away.
Wow.
Here we are, as in olden days.
I mean,
I
to
was
cut.
losing my voice on that.
I could hear how tired you are, honey. I
And
hear it.
well, actually, it wasn't tired. I had had a couple of asthma attacks, and
Oh,
my
good grief.
breath was very shallow.
But I also, you could tell that your vocal cords were annoyed, as you say. You know,
They were annoyed because I took a hit off of the wrong inhaler.
atomizer. Yeah,
Oh.
I hear you.
And oh my God, it just destroyed me that day. And I've never used them since.
Wow.
Never used them since, but it was a nice album.
Well, all I want to say is, first of all, you and your family have the best holiday ever. And thank you so much for shining your light
Thank
on
you.
all of us. You know, it's you are a
Thank
treasure, Carmen.
you.
You're really a treasure. You really are. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And you as well. Thank you so much, Eric. It's just an honor to be on your show.
Aw.
I just love y'all. I really
Well,
do. I really
we love you, and you brought so much joy into our lives through your music, and we just wish you and your family, your mom, everybody, health and happiness as we wind down 2020, and let's all, you know, fingers crossed, collectively 2021 will be a better year for all of us.
Joe and Kamala have their work cut out for them, but we're all pulling and praying. So
That's true.
absolutely.
Yep, and we'll be keeping an eye on the state of Georgia too.
Merry
and
Christmas.
really
yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. That's going to mean
Yes.
more this year than ever. So
Anyway, yeah.
I'm going to get into that chicken that I smell cooking right now.
Nancy's gonna have some chicken. I think I may have a cheeseburger and fry. No.
All right.
Best-
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Eric. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Nance. Thank you, Carmen. God bless. Okay, take care. Thanks again.
Thank you. God bless you. Take care.
See you.
Night, night. Lots of love.